Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Elder Scrolls Oblivion with only restoration magic was a really fun change of pace. Let's follow that up with the first Pokemon Platinum Challenge in a little over a year. Today's the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon Platinum with a team of only one Chansey. Before I get into the run, I know a lot of you are going to want to know where I was since I was gone for 3 months. I'll have a time code in the description if you want to skip past this whole part and just get into the run. I don't want to waste your time. Anyway, you already know if you've listened to the ending of the previous challenge, or if you've kept up with my Twitter or the YouTube community posts, but I had a medical emergency. The events of this are incredibly long, and I kinda want to keep this short, so I'm gonna give you the extremely brief version. I'll do a proper full video on this whenever it's all over, since I'm not actually fully healthy yet. At the end of August, I collapsed and was rushed to the hospital after feeling this awful pain in my left side, as well as nerve pains all over my chest, ribs, and left arm. It was so bad that I was bedridden for 2 months, about a week after my collapse. Naturally, I couldn't work because I needed constant bed rest, so I couldn't really make any new videos. All I could do was upload the ones that I already had pre-made. I always have a few weeks worth of videos made ahead of time just in case I get sick or something, but I never could have anticipated being incapacitated for 3 entire months. I don't have an editor or a team of people who work on this show with me. I am my own scriptwriter, editor, voice actor, everything. I do all of it. So when I can't work, the show just doesn't happen. During that time, I had constant appointments with my doctor, as well as different specialists, trying to figure out what's wrong with me. At first they thought it was my heart, but everything turned out to be perfectly healthy with that, and then they thought it was my thyroid since my throat was swelling at the time, but in the end it wasn't that either. I had some kind of throat inflammation, but I was left for so long with just bed rest with no medication or diagnosis or anything of that kind, that the throat inflammation actually cleared up on its own, but the nerve pains never did. Slowly though, I started getting better and became a bit more mobile. Both the endocrinologist and the cardiologist said that although my heart and my thyroid are good, they both think that the problem is, and I'm probably not going to pronounce this right, cervical radiculopathy. Basically, I have some kind of herniated disc or pinched nerve issue going on in the right side of my neck, causing shooting nerves and pains down my left arm, as well as some pains in my chest. I might also have some similar issue lower down in my back. We're still not really sure. I always took great care of my body, walking 10,000 steps a day, doing daily cardio, as well as lifting weights, and a whole lot of stretching and posture work. I love fitness, but I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Basically, the connective tissue between my joints isn't very good, so these are the kinds of problems that are just prone to happening, and it would have been a lot worse if I hadn't already been in good shape. That said, I lost a lot of my muscle mass from being bedridden for months, so I'm still very much trying to recover. As it stands, I'm waiting to get a nerve conduction test and an MRI done, but my doctor told me that both appointments will take months. Well, I've already been waiting months just to get all my previous tests, and so far it's been 3 months with absolutely no help. So I'm just doing physiotherapy on my own from home, and it's been helping. In fact, it's helped enough that I'm actually able to work a little bit again. I'm still far from 100%, but I'm well enough that I can exercise some days, and I'm mostly able to sit at my computer chair and do work as long as I take breaks anytime the nerves get too bad or my heart rate gets too high. Just like everyone else, not being able to work for 3 entire months is really financially difficult for me, especially since I have people who depend on my income. I have family to take care of. One person is in school, and the other isn't physically able to work anymore, so it's just up to me to earn all the money it takes to take care of all of us. And although I still earned some money while not working just from all the videos still being up on my channel to watch, it wasn't much. I didn't qualify for unemployment benefits due to my channel still making money, and although I had some money saved up, I knew it wouldn't last long if I couldn't work at all. But when you guys heard that I had collapsed and couldn't work, everyone just kind of rallied together to help me out. So many people either sent one-time donations through my tips link that I use for streams, or pledged over on my Patreon that were actually okay. I still made less money than I would if I were working, of course, but no one went without money for food and rent, and that means the world to me. I know that those of you who pledged have already seen the community posts and have seen me thank you so many times, but I want to say it again, thank you. It's because of your help that everyone was okay when I literally wasn't healthy enough to walk for more than a couple of steps without crippling chest pain. I still don't know how long it's gonna be until I can work as heavy of a schedule as I used to, and I don't know when I'll be making a decent income again. But I'm just thankful that I can at least get back to working in a limited capacity and that you guys have my back. If you want to pledge on Patreon, then I appreciate it. The link is always in the description, but never feel like you have to. The show is, and always will be, free. And now that I'm working again, I'll probably earn a bit more, so feel free to unpledge if you'd like. Your money is your money. Take care of you and yours before you take care of me and mine. Anyway, I've rambled long enough. I'll talk about all this in more detail one day when I'm 100% again. So, anyway, the challenge run. This one's gonna be crazy, isn't it? Right off the bat, Chansey is a normal type with hilariously uneven stats. She's got an insane 250 base health, but only 5 attack and 5 defense. I guess you could say that we're a special attacker, but with a base of 35, our special attack is about as strong as a Pidgey's regular attack. Our special defense is great, so at least there's that. In fact, our attack is half of that of a Shuckle, which is shocking, because I've used a Shuckle before and it's not strong. By level up, we only learn physical attack, so that's probably going to be a problem, but we also learn some cool stuff like Soft Boiled for healing, and yeah, actually, it's basically just Soft Boiled. Minimize is cool, but is basically double team, so I consider that kind of a last resort, although we'll probably have to use it, I'm not gonna lie. By TM, we have this comedically long list of things that we can learn, so that has me hopeful, if a bit overwhelmed. It looks like all of our special attacks are gonna be coming from these TMs. The only normal move we can learn that uses special is Hyper Beam, and I kinda doubt that we're gonna use that, so probably very little same type attack bonus on this run. I'll probably have to use Return since I do get it at the start though. Not that it's gonna do much. You know, Chansey can have the ability Serene Grace, and that's the ability that Dunsparce uses to have double the chance of secondary effects on moves. That could come in handy with a lot of these TMs. The freeze chance on Ice Beam, paralysis chance on Thunderbolt, and burn chance on Flamethrower. That could work with all of those. Maybe we roll with something like Soft Boiled, Calm Mind, Ice Beam, and Thunderbolt? Wait, never mind. Calm Mind is from the Battle Tower. I'll figure this out later. Like always, I'm writing this script as I go through with the challenge, so all of this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I'm pretty sure that I can win, but I get the feeling that it's gonna be a real slow challenge. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Chansey. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So right off the bat, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Tortwig with Chansey so that we can do the whole run with it. I picked to replace Tortwig so that our rival would have Chimchar, probably the hardest for us to fight. I name him Drew because Chansey Drew wouldn't fit, and that's hilarious. Thanks to Tim Ree, I'm not sure, on Twitter for the name suggestion. I figured I kind of had to go with Chansey Drew, what with being the #1 Nancy Drew Let's Player. Our nature is modest, so more special attack and less attack. I restarted for an hour just to get this nature because we desperately needed extra special attack, and our attack stat is basically useless in the first place, so I don't mind that lowering. Our ability is Natural Cure, so we don't keep our status afflictions after battle most of the time at least. It's nice, but I'd much prefer Serene Grace. That said, with how long it took to get this nature, and the nature being more important than the ability, I'm gonna roll with this. Hope it doesn't bite me too bad. Early travel is pretty comical with how slow it is. Our base attack is 5, plus we have a nature that lowers that even more, so naturally we hardly deal any damage. Combined with how we have a terrible defense, and early game Pokemon are actually pretty hard for us to fight. I learned Return right away, but I doubt we'll be using it that much after we get any special moves. It doesn't matter if Return's power gets pretty high once our friendship is high. 5 attack is half of that of a Shuckle. There's nothing we can do to make that move strong. I only have it because it's better than Pound. While I walk, I guess I should explain why I haven't done a platinum challenge in over a year. See, in the early days of these challenges, I literally would just mash the A button for everything, you know, like you would do on an actual Game Boy. I know that just about every emulator has a built-in auto-fire button where you can just hold a button to simulate mashing it, but I wasn't sure if you guys would consider that cheating or not, so I never really used it for a long time. I mean, that is until I brought it up, and then all of you guys said to just use it. And I'm really thankful that you did, because my old controller I used for these challenges has a totally destroyed A button because of all the mashing I had to do, to the point that I ended up getting a new controller. I was also starting to get hand pains, and considering I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, I probably shouldn't be mashing every day. Well, for some reason, I just can't get auto-fire buttons to work in Pokemon Platinum. I'm not sure why. It works for other people using the same emulator, and it works in the same emulator when playing Black and Black 2, but just not Platinum. I was never able to figure it out why, so for this run, I'm just mashing the A button. Let's hope my hand holds up. Now, hilariously enough, we got destroyed in the first rival fight. See, we have crazy high health for this early in the game, so the AI knows it won't hit hard. Instead of just attacking us, it spams its debuffs, so in Starly's case, that's Growl. Because of that, our attack gets absolutely demolished, to the point that Return was doing a sliver. Once we got to Chimchar, I tried using Tail Whip as it used Leer on us. I took its defense down 6 stages, but we could hardly do any damage. I'm gonna have to actually grind so that I can beat Starly faster so it doesn't use Growl on us too much for us to get a win. What a weird issue. It took a few levels, but at level 15, I was able to get the win. We have soft-boiled so we can heal, but really it was just beating Starly before it could use too many Growls that got us the win. It honestly wasn't too bad, it was just a funny roadblock. You know what will be bad though? The Rock Gym. I'm sure some of you have seen this coming, but this is going to be one of the biggest hurdles in the whole run, at least I predict. We have a rock gym with 3 rock types to beat. They have high defense stats, and we have the lowest attack stat in the entire game, plus a nature that lowers our attack even more. Not only that, but there are no TMs that teach us any moves that use special attack until after this gym. We're forced to use our horrible attack stat, and we're forced to use moves that they resist. I can't see us possibly doing more than 1 damage per attack, so I think our best chance is to learn Rock Smash, use Soft Boil to stay healthy, and then we just have to hope that we can win. It's super effective, but it's also an incredibly weak move, and it's physical, and we get stuck with it for ages because you can't delete HMs in this game until, what, the city with the steel gym? At least we could get some defense drops if we're lucky. Honestly, I think running out of power points will be a genuine threat, and if it is, then we have to level up to the point that we can deal more than 1 point of damage, and oh man, that might take a while. Let's just try the rock gym and see how that goes. So, at level 18, I make my first try. To save on power points, I just used Rock Smash till Geodude got 2 defense drops, then used Return. That wasn't too bad since we could heal, but Onix was much worse. Not only was I getting terrible luck with defense drops, but Onix used Screech twice to ruin our defense right at the start, so I had to heal often with Soft Boiled. It still looks like we could win until Onix used a 3rd Screech. I decided to try a few more times, hoping for better defense drop luck. Onix still went pretty badly, but this time it just never used Screech, so I guess the AI is a bit random here. Problem is, our defense drop luck was still awful, so we wasted a ton of power points before it went down. Last was Craniados, and the last 2 Rock Smashes didn't drop its defense even once, so we just traded shots for ages. Our returns did just about nothing, and its headbutts really messed us up, so eventually we ran out of uses of Soft Boiled and fainted. Okay, I'm gonna actually have to get a few levels and come back with more health. We gain a lot of health per level, so between the extra health and thus the extra healing we'll have from Soft Boiled, I think we can win this. On the next attempt, things went a little bit better due to being a couple levels higher, but due to being hit by Screech, Craniados was dealing far more damage. We got a defense drop on him and totally could have won, but we got crit by Headbutt to easily take us down. I think this is possible at this level though. I'm gonna keep trying. A few levels later and things once again weren't looking great, with us once again getting hit by Screech before we could take Onyx down. This time against Craniados, we don't get crit though, so although we're pretty much constantly having to heal with Soft Boiled, we got a few defense drops and we're actually dealing decent damage. It took a while, and there were a few close calls, but in the end, we actually finally got the win. That was brutal. I'm kind of regretting getting rid of Refresh, considering we never ended up needing the extra power points from Pound. I guess I can always get it back later. Oh, and I know I had Minimize and I could have just used that, but you guys generally don't like when I use Double Team on major fights like this, so I wanted to try it without Minimize first. Okay, travel was uneventful, but you have to see this hilarious fight with a random trainer. This Cherubi hit us with Leech Seed, and because we have a ridiculous amount of health and it steals a specific percentage of our max health, it was fully healing off of us every single turn. We actually ended up whiting out. I ended up getting around this by just walking around the trainer, but it was a funny problem to run into. Actually, now that I think about it, I hope that doesn't make the grass gym impossible. Okay, if it does, I might just have to use Minimize. Look, I'm already dealing with a messed up neck. I'd quite like for Pokemon to not be the most painful thing in my life. Okay, time for Commander Mars at the Valley Windworks. The first try was a total disaster. What I thought would be a super easy fight went south when Zubat used Toxic, obviously dooming us as the damage would get higher and higher every turn, to the point that we couldn't out-heal it. It's crazy to think that we're running into a mandatory fight where they use Toxic on us before the second gym of the game. Anyway, after a couple of tries, we just didn't get hit by Toxic and ended up winning because of it. The next part of the run is kinda funny because it's in the forest where we have a Chansey that backs us up in our battles and heals us after, so we're a double Chansey tag team. Hey, I never realized it before, but why does Chansey have Egg Bomb already? You don't normally learn that until level 38. That's a 100 power move. It's actually pretty strong for this early. I mean, that said, max power return is basically the same but more accurate, so I shouldn't complain. This whole area is really easy though, so let's move on to the grass gym. Okay, this Leech Seed issue is bigger than I thought. This is the first trainer in the grass gym, and I can't win because even with a crit, I can't one-shot Cherubi, and it just fully heals every turn. This is the first Pokemon on our team too, so I can't just minimize a bunch before fighting it, and even a crit won't get a one-shot, so I can't just wait for that. We could wait for Leech Seed to miss, but considering I'll need to hit 3 times for a knockout, I'd have to get really lucky for it to miss twice in a row. I can't get any super effective moves yet for a one-shot, so I think I actually have to level up a few more times so that we can hopefully one-shot it with a critical return. This run is already so weird, but it's cool to run into totally unique problems. Maybe I need to do more Chansey runs. So I grinded to level 30 and tried the fight again, just for her to use Tackle instead of Leech Seed for some reason. Does the game need to troll me as soon as I came back? Let's just go fight the gym leader. So the fight started alright against Turtwig. We really weren't doing much damage and she kept using Reflect, so we were doing even less, but it's not like she could do much damage to us either, and we can heal, so we won. Cherim seemed like it was gonna go fine at first as we kept chipping away at it, but eventually it landed Leech Seed and that doomed us. Okay, no more messing around. I'm gonna just try again and spam Minimize on Turtwig. That way their AI will just spam Magical Leaf since it always hits, instead of using Leech Seed, which dooms us. Okay, next try goes much better. We still get hit every turn since they all have Magical Leaf, but our special defense is fantastic and our health is insane, so they couldn't really do anything to us. I had to use Rock Smash a bit to drop their defense since we don't have many power points, but we were able to win in the end. Man, I can't wait to learn some special moves. Our attack stat is just useless. This battle gets us the TM for Grass Knot, and it's a decent enough move, but I don't think we can get away with replacing anything yet, so let's hold on to that. Next is the Galactic Hideout. I made sure to fight everything here for experience. I know that we're not super far from the Ghost Gym, and that's usually a pretty rough area. I predict that gym will go horribly since it's all ghosts, naturally. They're gonna burn us with Will-O-Wisp, so that means that our attack is gonna be even lower, and our only move that could hit would be Rock Smash and Grass Knot if I chose to learn that. Wait, no, Rock Smash isn't rock, it's fighting. Right. Okay, we'll scratch that, it's only Grass Knot. I guess I could go right back to the start of the game and get Rock Tomb if I really need it. Problem is, Grass Knot is resisted by Haunter, and also Grass Knot does damage based on weight, like Low Kick. Ghosts don't really weigh much, so I doubt it's gonna do much. So 20 power against Duskull and Haunter, and 40 power against Mismagius. I mean, it would do even less to Haunter since it's part poison. And yeah, I could learn Rock Tomb, but I mean it misses all the time, and it's really weak, and it uses our attack stat, so it's almost guaranteed to do less damage. I guess earlier in the run, I technically could have ditched something to learn Fling, but I could only use that on one of the Pokemon on their team since you can only use it once per battle, and without our other moves like Minimize and Soft Boiled, I think we'd be completely doomed. Actually, no, yeah, we'd literally be doomed. That would literally be impossible. Plus, what move do I even want to ditch if I want to take both Grass Knot and Rock Tomb? Return? That's a bit daunting. I'll gladly replace Rock Smash, but we can't get rid of that until the move deleter, so that's not until right before the 6th gym of the game, and there's no way I'm dropping Minimize or Soft Boiled. Not until we can reach the move reminder, at least. That's also later in the game. We won't get any real good moves until Veil Stone, and even then, I'm gonna have to spend a lot of time in the game corner just to get a new move. I've got no real choice. I think I'm gonna have to ditch Return for the Ghost Gym. Now, I know this'll shock you all to your very core, but we didn't beat Jupiter. It's a new issue, but still stemming from the usual one of we hardly deal damage. Zubat is easy, but Skuntank hardly gets hurt by our moves, and it spams smoke screens, so we lose accuracy fast. Not only that, but we get poisoned early, so we have to heal pretty often. A Night Slash does a surprisingly huge amount of damage to us, especially when it crits, and it crits a lot. Alright, I'm using Minimize again. I don't even feel bad about it. I'm always gonna try the fight first without it at least, but considering there aren't any better moves we can learn for this fight, I'm using what we've got. At least this move we learn naturally by level up, so it's unique to Chansey. Alright, I need you to watch this. It's like the game knew that I was trying to get an easy win with Minimize and decided to be cruel. Would you look at how many times Night Slash hit us despite being fully minimized? This is why I always say that Double Team isn't half as overpowered as people say that it is in these solo Pokemon runs. When they get to attack you this often, they still land many hits. It's honestly crazy. I was missing more after being hit by 2 smoke screens in the previous try than they were missing me after I used Minimize 6 times. The RNG gods really don't want me to come back to making challenge videos. So traveling is getting pretty rough at this point. It's not that we can't take on trainers or anything, we mostly can, but we deal so little damage that power points are a real issue, and I find myself stopping off at Pokécenters pretty often just to restore them. It's not the end of the world or anything, but you know what will be? That upcoming Ghost Gym. Okay, so the Ghost Gym went horribly, as I'm sure you could expect. We got burnt right away, and that ended up dealing a ton of damage over the course of the fight. But the real problem was that Grass Knot does almost no damage. Yeah, we eventually got Duskull to faint, but against Haunter, it was so much worse. This was with me spamming Minimize to stay alive. We just can't hurt them. Even if I were to learn Rock Tomb as well, it wouldn't do much either. It misses a lot, and it only has 10 power points. Plus, I'd have to ditch either Minimize or Soft Boiled, and either would mean we would just lose even faster. I have no choice but to grind. This is a pretty long grind. You'll notice I have Return again. It's because I made sure to save before replacing it just in case I have to grind, because I figured I would. This is a pretty brutally long grind, even with speed up, and the fact that the auto buttons don't really work doesn't do me any favors. I don't have any real choice though. Since there aren't any moves that we can learn to do the fight better, I can't get a Meadow Plate or a Miracle Seed to power up our grass moves, so I just use a Shell Bell. It hardly heals us since we hardly deal damage, but it's better than nothing, and it's free to grab in town, so why not? I generally don't think we're gonna win this fight below level 45, maybe level 50, so I get the feeling I'm going to be grinding a lot. I'll try again at level 40 though, just to see if it's possible yet. It's times like this that I am extremely thankful Chansey's in the fast leveling category, since it means we need a 5th less experience to hit max level. It may not sound like a lot, but that's 200,000 less experience over the course of the game. While I'm grinding, now's a great time to hear from this episode's sponsor, Chimera. It's starting to get pretty cold out, so this week we're checking out some sweatshirts and hoodies. They've got all kinds. Are you like me and you look better in collared shirts? Then the quarter zip sweatshirt is for you. It comes in dark gray, navy blue, and black, so you've got a nice variety of cool colors. If you're not into the zippers though, then you can get the kangaroo layer sweatshirt that has a nice big pocket in the front for your hands. Or if you want a more classic sweatshirt style, then they've got the signature sweatshirt. This is more of a traditional long-sleeved sweatshirt for you to enjoy. They've also got hoodies. Personally, I'm a zip-up hoodie kind of guy, and they've got some of those, but if you're into pullover hoodies, then they have those too. Lots of variety over on Chimera. While I show you some of their awesome graphic tees, I also want to take a moment to talk about how awesome it is to work with Chimera. Not only do they let me write my own scripts and say what I actually mean, but they treat me like a person instead of just a way to make sales. When I had my health issue, they actually would email me every month just to check up on me and see if I'm okay. No other sponsor did that. They didn't have to do that, they just cared, and that means a lot to me. And here they are, supporting the channel by wanting to sponsor this video, so if you want to support the channel and look good while doing it, then hit up the link in the description to go to Chimera and pick up something warm to wear this winter. If you're going to pick something up, then make sure to use the promo code Mah-Dry-Bread at checkout to get 10% off your order, and to let them know that I sent you. Anyway, it's time for that ghost gym again. Wish me luck. At level 40, I tried again, but honestly, it wasn't even close. Maybe we could have done better if she didn't have super potions, but she does, so once again, we couldn't get Haunter to faint. This is brutal. I'm gonna have to grind even more. I'm really hoping that level 45 will be enough to get a win here. At level 45, I thought we were doing much better since we were dealing great damage to Duskull, and we even lucked out and never ended up getting burned. It turned out, though, that she's got multiple super potions, so although she used one on Duskull, she still had one for Haunter. Because of that, we ran out of grass knots the moment we took Haunter down. The worst part of this was, because Mismagius is heavier, I think we could have dealt decent damage to her. Okay, I'm gonna have to grind to level 50. This is gonna take ages, but I really think it's gonna get us a much needed win. Okay, level 50. Duskull wasted an extra couple power points at Grass Knot thanks to using a super potion, but only being a 2-shot right after. I guess there's a damage range going on. We got burned and had incredibly bad luck with Confuse Ray hitting despite 6 minimizes, so we had to use Soft Boiled to heal way more than usual. But we actually ended up taking down Haunter with 5 power points to spare. Problem is, despite Mismagius being heavy enough that Grass Knot would have 40 power rather than 20, we still hardly hurt her. In fact, in the end, thanks to her berry, she ended up with half health when we ran out of power points. This is so much worse than the Rock Gym. Even if I had the 2 extra power points from the Duskull fight, I don't think I'd have won this. Maybe with a crit? But if she had another super potion, then we wouldn't be even remotely close. I'm gonna have to go level even more. This is taking forever. Hey, at least during grinding we can one-shot stuff now. I mean, mostly. We're level 51, and I can't one-shot a level 18 barrel, despite using a max friendship same type attack bonus return. Can you see why I want to use special attacks already? Okay, so you're not ready for the insanity of this fight at level 55. First of all, we didn't get burned off Duskull, and that ended up becoming absolutely necessary to get as far as we did by the end of the fight. Against Haunter, I have some of the most hilariously bad luck I've ever had in a Pokemon battle. No joke, would you look at how many times Haunter hit us with Hypnosis? We've maxed out our evasion with Minimize, and he just casually hits us with a 1-2 punch of Hypnosis and Confuse Ray so many times. Have you ever hit 4 Hypnosis in a single battle in your life, even without Minimize being involved? Someone in the comments is gonna have to do the math on how rare that is. Eventually, we knocked him out, but we used the same amount of power points as last time to make Haunter faint. Duskull took a few less hits, so we went into the Mismagius fight with 2 more power points than last time. It was looking for a while like I was gonna get the win, when I ended up dropping her to red health as we ran out of power points. If I had literally crit once the entire fight, we would have been able to finish her off. Now, I hadn't used Struggle to this point in the run, because Struggle still uses our attack stat, and the recoil damage is based on our max health, not the damage we deal, so it's nearly useless with Chansey. Chansey is likely to be the literal worst Pokemon in the entire franchise to use Struggle with, but I knew that if nothing crazy happened, we could get a win with it. So I spent 5 whole minutes running out of all of our moves so that we could finally hit Struggle, and it worked, getting us the win. We took nearly 100 damage from the recoil of using Struggle. Honestly, at this point, it's just funny. Let's go do the rival fight, then we get a real attacking move. So you'd think being level 55 would mean that we for sure win our first try at our next rival fight, but nope. We dropped Staravia's health to red, he used Endeavor to bring our health to a sliver, then finished us off with Quick Attack. Okay, that only happened because we missed once. Let's just try again. Second try goes much better as we take it down without a miss. Monferno is next, and we weren't really doing much damage thanks to only having a weak grass move, but at least he wasn't doing much to us so we could keep healing and fighting. But Weasel was a one-shot of course, and last was Roselia, who hit us with Leech Seed, so we couldn't win because he'd fully heal off of us every turn. I can't believe it. I'm gonna need to use Minimize again. This game won't cut us any slack. Next try, I do the entire fight just to get paralyzed right away, and then Leech Seed hit again on the very first time he tried it. I just had to do a 5-minute fight just for Minimize to totally fail me. Do you see why I hate this move? See, worst part is that Grass Knot is quad weak to Roselia, so I have to use Rock Smash, but our attack is down from Intimidate from Staravia at the start, so we hardly do anything. I can't believe how difficult this is. Next try. Yep, paralyzed and seated on the first try again. Am I going crazy? There must be something that I'm doing wrong here, like an ability or an item that I'm not taking into account that makes these moves hit more. Or maybe some obscure Gen 4 mechanic that I don't know about? Third try with Minimize. Okay, this time he just didn't even try for Leech Seed, he just missed Stun Spore a bunch, and we got enough defense drops to finally get a win. I am so happy he didn't pull out a potion or something. Okay, now that we're at Veilstone, I decided to hit up the game corner for a very long time. I would argue that Gen 4 probably has the most forgiving game corner since at least there's a Chansey minigame that gives you a lot more money, but this still takes forever and is pretty hands-on. You can't just hold speed up and mash the A button. You've got to do button inputs corresponding to what Clefairy is doing, so you have to sit there and pay attention the whole time. I wouldn't mind getting a few more moves from here, but it takes so long just to get enough coins for the 1 TM that I decided to just pick it up. Flamethrower, Psychic, Thunderbolt, and Ice Beam would all be great because they all use special attack. Psychic would be the biggest damage dealer due to it sometimes getting special defense drops, but I'm taking Ice Beam for sure. Freeze is a super strong status affliction, so that's the first TM that I'm taking. I still really wish that I had Serene Grace, but it's too late for that now. Let's go give the Fighting Gym a try. Now, you'd think that now that I have a real move, things would be easier, but nope. We swept our way to Lucario just for me to realize I could hardly deal any damage to it, and it had Drain Punch, so it could out-heal us. Alright, so I started using Minimize and Soft Boiled to try and stay alive as much as possible, with the idea that at the end I would be able to use Rock Smash to get a slow but steady victory. It took forever, and we got paralyzed in the process from Force Palm, but it actually worked eventually. Because he couldn't land any Drain Punches, he couldn't heal. It's funny, I think Drain Punch and Leech Seed are probably the 2 most dangerous moves for us this entire run, and they're shockingly common in Gen 4. At least we can probably one-shot anything that's gonna use Drain Punch at this point thanks to Ice Beam. So you might think that I had stopped fighting every trainer at this point, but we actually really need the experience. See, as nice as our new Ice Beam may be, we still need all the experience we can get. We've got a Water Gym coming up, and I really don't think Ice Beam is gonna get us the win in there. That means I'll need to go to the game corner for another few hours until I can get something like Thunderbolt, but that means we'll have to ditch Minimize because we can't get rid of Rock Smash yet. It's not the end of the world since we can go to the move reminder now if we want to get it back, but no minimize means that we're going to have to take hits in the gym. Now, I'm sure that most of the moves they use are going to be special, and our special defense is fantastic, but I'm also pretty sure that they're going to have at least 1 or 2 decent physical water moves, and we need to be a high enough level that our soft-boiled is going to heal us more than they can hurt us. The more max health we have, the better. Seriously though, I'm like 99% sure that I'm going to have to hit up the game corner again to get Thunderbolt. I'd have gotten it first, but the gym leader has a Quagsire, and we need both Thunderbolt and Ice Beam to win anyway. Before the water gym, though, is the rival. This was actually the first major fight of the game where we won on the first try. It wasn't super easy. We didn't have great moves for it, but we're also just so overleveled that it didn't matter. How do you think the water gym's gonna go? I'm calling it now, I'm not even gonna make it to the gym leader without Thunderbolt. Well, I was wrong. I actually got to the gym leader easily. Right away, Water Onix wasn't too bad, since his part flying, although his physical waterfall did hurt. And second was Floatzel. I tried Rock Smash, but it did just about nothing thanks to Intimidate from Water Onix, so I followed up with Ice Beam, and it did a great job. He went down pretty fast. Last was Quagsire, who was part ground, so Ice Beam did a great job against him too. That was genuinely really easy. Maybe I don't need Thunderbolt yet. Time for more travel. So next up we've got Cyrus, then our rival, then the Steel Gym. Cyrus has a lot of flying types, so I think Ice Beam will do a fine enough job against him. Then there's our rival. I'm kind of worried about that one since I know that his starter will be fully evolved, and although I don't really remember his moves that well, I'm sure he'll have some kind of dangerous fighting move. He's part fire, so I doubt Ice Beam will do the job. I actually might need Thunderbolt by that point. At least I could reach the move deleter by then, so I could ditch Rock Smash if I want. Then there's the Steel Gym. I'm not sure what to think of that one. Ice Beam could deal with some of his team, but only the part ground types. Ice doesn't work that well on Steel, so Bastiodon would be a real problem. Might have to use Thunderbolt on that. I don't think it's part ground, but oof, I could be misremembering that. Wish me luck. So Cyrus went pretty well. Sneasel is double weak to fighting, so Rock Smash did a decent enough job, and the rest of his team was weak to Ice Beam, so they all went down pretty fast. The rival is after this though, so I think I'll give it a try or two with just Ice Beam before I cave and resort to learning Thunderbolt. First try. Okay, it started fine with Staraptor going down in one hit, but next was Heracross. His Brick Break did tons of damage, and we needed 3 Ice Beams to take him down, so we ended up being dropped into red health. That's bad news because next is Infernape, who just used Mach Punch to get priority and finish us off. That's fine, I have an idea. On the next try, I build up Minimize against Staraptor since I knew it would be more dangerous to do it against Heracross. 2 problems though. One is he started using Double Team, so we had a hard time hitting, and since he has Aerial Ace, he can still hit us reliably. The second issue is that it turns out his AI cheats. Yeah, check it out. Most of the time he uses Aerial Ace because he knows it always hits, but randomly he'll sometimes use Takedown and always hit. The AI knows before it chooses the move if it's gonna hit or not, so it only picks Takedown when it's gonna hit. I know this because it only picked Takedown 3 random times, and despite 6 uses of Minimize, it hit every time. Me, on the other hand, I missed all 10 Ice Beams, meaning that I would run out of power points before getting to the last Pokemon. I think I just have to try over and over until I hit an Ice Beam. Okay, next try and we lucked out and got an Ice Beam on the first try. That wasn't nearly as bad. Against Heracross, I used a few Rock Smashes to save on Ice Beams, and it kinda helped, but I don't think that I was super efficient with it. Also, as it turns out, he's got Aerial Ace as well, so he could still hit us. Next is Infernape, who also has Aerial Ace. Man, that's a common move. This time I relied really heavily on Rock Smash. See, I could have taken him down faster with Ice Beam, but I know I'll need Ice Beam for the Roserade at the end of the battle, so I wanted to make sure that I had some left. He wasn't that bad. We did have to heal a bit, but we still took him down. Second from last was Floatzel, who had Swift, so yet another move that can't miss, but he really couldn't do any serious damage to us, so we just whittled him down, although our power points were getting really low. Last was Roserade, who we could just take out with 1 Ice Beam. I can't believe we finally won that fight. I'm not really in the mood to gamble for hours with Thunderbolt, so let's just try the Steel Gym and see what happens. First up is Magneton. Ice Beam doesn't do great damage, but it's decent. I tried to use Rock Smash to bring its health low enough so that the second Ice Beam would make it faint, but it didn't work out so well and he used a Hyper Potion. We did lose some special defense to Harsh Sound, but we actually still didn't take much damage from special attacks, so it wasn't that bad. I mean, other than when he crit us right before he went down, that was rough. Steelix was second, so I healed up right away as he started up a Sandstorm. We lucked out though, and Ice Beam ended up freezing him, so we got an easy 2-shot without taking any big hits. Last is Bastiodon, and right away Ice Beam hardly did anything, but he hardly did anything to us. I quickly realized that Rock Smash is the way to go. It basically did a sliver, but it dropped his defense, so I slowly started the process of Rock Smashing anytime I didn't need to heal, and using Soft Boiled anytime that his Stone Edge hurt us too much. It took ages, but we got a pretty good first try win. Alright, next up is traveling to the lakes to fight the commanders before we head north. This is honestly great because the more trainers I get to fight before needing Thunderbolt, the more money I can have to convert straight into coins to save time in the game corner. Who knows, maybe I'll even end up needing to buy Flamethrower to deal with the Ice Gym. That might be wishful thinking though. I'm not sure that I'll need Flamethrower for anything else in the run. Thunderbolt might still be the way to go. Maybe it would be best to just ditch Minimize and use Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Ice Beam, and Soft Boiled by the end of the run. That's a lot of time in the game corner though, and you never know when Minimize will be pretty much required. Although, I guess there's always the move reminder. We'll have to cross that bridge when we come to it. So next up is Commander Saturn. Yeah, he was super easy as usual. We did run out of Ice Beams against Bronzor, but he was nice and didn't spam Iron Defense, so we took him out just fine with Rock Smash. Next up after that is Commander Mars, who is also pretty easy. I mean, her Perugly took us a little while to take down thanks to being kinda tanky, and Slash doing a lot of damage, but I mean, we weren't really in any danger of fainting. I probably don't need to talk about the commanders anymore. This video is long enough as is. So next is heading north to the Ice Gym. Not much to say about the travel, I just want to say that it's real nice to be working again. I really miss this. Not specifically on this run, although it's an interesting one. I just mean it's real nice to be in the computer chair working on a video again. Helps make things feel more normal again after months of being bedridden. I even got to do a little cardio this morning for the first time in months, so that was nice. I'm still far from being 100%, and I don't know how often I'm going to be able to put up high-effort videos like this, but I'm happy to at least be making this one. I really hope that I can keep doing this, and that I'm past the worst of my health issues. First is Sneasel, who's faster than us, but doesn't really hit hard. We don't hit hard either, but it really shows how frail Sneasel is that we could do as much damage as we did with Rock Smash. We even got her to use her Hyper Potion, so that was cool. Second is Abomasnow. Thanks to her ability, it's now hailing for the entire rest of the fight. This was a funny one because sometimes she'd use Wood Hammer and it would do tons of recoil damage, to the point that it was probably rougher on her than it was on us. We could always just heal back up. Ice Beam is neutral against it since it's part grass, so I just used it to get the win. Third is Pillow-Swine, who's also neutral to Ice Beam, so that's the way to go. It did great damage, so although we got beaten up by Avalanche, we had chances to heal and finish her off. Earthquake hurt quite a bit though. Last was Frostlass, and this is where the fight totally fell apart. Not only do we have one move that can hit her, but she spammed Double Team right away, so we naturally just ran out of Ice Beams. I decided to stick in the fight and use Minimize and Soft Boil just to see if our struggle would do any serious damage, and it did. To us, not to her. We dealt a sliver of damage while taking a hilarious amount per attack. Didn't stand a chance. Let's go get Thunderbolt. I think it's clear that we need it at this point. Flamethrower would do a better job, but we need Thunderbolt for the fights after that, so I'm going for that. Okay, next try, and this time it's with Thunderbolt. This took forever and was mostly a pretty uninteresting battle, either than Sneasel switching out early, so we had to deal with Hail pretty much the entire fight. Once we got to Frostlass, I tried to carefully use Ice Beam and Thunderbolt in such a way that we wouldn't drop her into red health to activate her Hyper Potion, but it took forever because we had to stop and heal. She used Double Team a few times, but we honestly got pretty lucky on still hitting most of the time. In the end, we won, and we didn't even have to learn Flamethrower. This is going pretty well. Next up is the Galactic Hideout. We're in this super difficult part of the run where there's tons of travel followed by often very difficult boss fights that are super punishing to have to redo because of the travel you have to do to get back to them. We have Cyrus at the end of this place, and I don't think that it'll be too bad, but then we have to climb a mountain, we have a double battle that's sometimes rough, do the distortion world that takes 10 minutes but feels like 30, just to have to do yet another Cyrus fight that's always much harder. Now, we actually have a great moveset to deal with Cyrus, so I don't think he'll beat us, but his Weavile is fast, probably hits real hard, and could actually mess us up. Having Flamethrower would probably make this go fine, but that's a lot of coins and I don't really know if we need it or not. I think I'll try without it first, but if I ended up needing it, then it's gonna add a ton of travel time. Let's just see how the next Cyrus fight goes before I go worrying about the one after it. Cyrus time. Okay, I don't want to go hardcore into this fight since it wasn't super interesting and this video is long enough, but I've gotta say, I'm not feeling confident. We couldn't one-shot anything, some of them hit us pretty hard, and the next Cyrus fight is much harder than this one. I haven't grinded in a while now, but I think I'm going to need to before I climb the mountain. If I go into that fight at this level, then I don't think we stand a chance. Maybe if I used Minimize, but I don't even know if I'll get a chance to use it. We're just so frail when it comes to strong physical attacks. So grinding in the mountain is actually pretty rough. The Pokemon that give us decent experience can't be one-shot, and the Medichams take out tons of our health with High Jump Kick, a move they seem to use just about every time, even though wild Pokemon are supposed to pick random moves. It's really not an efficient grind, but I really can't think of a better place to do this, so I just stuck with the usual spot. We really do need these levels. The last thing I want is to get to Cyrus for it to end up being a brick wall, because then I have to come back and grind more and climb the whole mountain again and do the whole distortion world again. I doubt I'll need to be level 80, but I think getting close to it would be a good idea. Double battle time. Yeah, this fight sucks. It wasn't hard and we didn't come close to fainting, but it took forever. Our rival's Munchlax is just a totally useless partner. He spends just about the whole fight using Stockpile to buff his defense, and then Swallow to heal back up and lose the buffs. So he hardly ever attacks, he just kind of exists and leaves us to do the whole fight with our embarrassing special attack. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to ride through the distortion world. I'm never not going to get lost in this place. I refuse to make you watch this. Let's skip to Cyrus. So this fight actually goes pretty well. We pretty much just bulldoze his entire team with Thunderbolt. Weavile did hit really hard as I expected, but because of his berry, he never landed in red health to use a full restore, so we still just took him down with Thunderbolt. The whole fight was pretty easy, although I'm sure if I didn't grind, it wouldn't have been. Well, that means that we just have the Electric Gym left to beat. I'm still not really confident about that one. We'll see how it goes. Well, I was wrong to worry. Turns out this fight is super easy. Like, look at this footage. Even when they used physical moves, they hardly hurt us. I was kind of worried when I got paralyzed at the start, but when I realized that none of his team could do any serious damage to me, I wasn't too worried. Plus, we got that crazy paralysis luck. Normally, I'm missing tons of turns. Okay, it's the last little bit of travel through Victory Road before the end of the game. We've got a rival fight that's usually pretty hard, then we've got the Elite Four and the Pokemon Champion. I'm overall not that worried about the Elite Four other than maybe Lucian, but I could see the rival fight before it being a problem. He's got some good fighting type moves that might mess us up. Plus, Cynthia will probably be a problem. Garchomp will probably hit us hard before we can take her out with Ice Beam, and Melodic could be super annoying if she spams Mirror Coat, since we only have special attacks. I'm not really that worried about Lucario though, since his only fighting move is special, not physical, so I don't expect that it'll do that much damage. In fact, most of Cynthia's moves are special, so I don't think the bulk of her team is going to hit us very hard. I'm getting ahead of myself though. Let's worry about the rival first. First is Staraptor, who goes down in one Thunderbolt, and second is the dreaded Heracross. Ice Beam does about half his health and damage, as it hits with close combat. It did an insane amount of damage, then we finished it off. That has to be the most damage we've taken from one hit. Next is Infernape, who uses Focus Blast. That's a special move, so it didn't make us faint, and we got to heal back up. Thunderbolt actually does pretty great damage to him, so we took him out no problem. Plus, he missed 2 Focus Blasts, so we got to end that part of the fight with high health. Floatzel hit Brick Break. Why does it even have that move? Anyway, it didn't do much, and we just one-shotted him with Thunderbolt. Snorlax had me worried, but we lucked out, and he froze right away, and he literally never used a full restore on him. I thought he would have used one. I actually don't remember if he has one, to be honest. Last was Roserade, who went down in 1 Ice Beam. Well, I guess I was wrong to be worried. Now that we're at the Elite Four, let's take a look at our team. I've got to say, 36 attack at level 86 is hilarious. That's got to be the lowest any of our stats have ever been by this point. 50 defense is shockingly low. I thought it would be at least a little bit higher. 116 special attack is still lower than we'd usually have by this point in our run, and that's with us having a nature that helps our special attack. But hey, 565 health and 195 special defense will make us pretty much immune to special attacks. I'm actually feeling pretty good about our chances. Make your final guesses on if we can win or not. Let's do this. First is Bug Trainer Aaron. First is his Yanmega, who is an easy one-shot with Thunderbolt, but second is another terrifying Heracross. We do less than half his health and damage. He hits close combat that does an insane 498 damage to us, but drops his special defense, and that lets us take him out on the follow-up. Naturally, as soon as Scizor came out, we healed back up. Now, we get totally unlucky with this fight, with Scizor critting us twice in a row, but Thunderbolt was dealing decent enough damage that we were able to take him down after a while of having to heal. For Vespiquen, I went straight for Thunderbolt to do great damage, as she just used a defense order, so I took her out on the follow-up. Last was Drapion, though, and right away he crit us for more damage than I was expecting, and since he's faster than us, we just went down on the follow-up. That was pretty unlucky. Second try, I tried using Minimize right away, but then he just used U-turn to switch to Heracross, who one-shot us. Hey, what if I used the same strategy as the first try, but I healed up more against Vespiquen? Okay, next time, I just had more health by the time I got to Vespiquen, thanks to being crit-less, so by the time I got to Drapion, I had an easy time staying healthy and taking it down. This actually took quite a few tries just because of unpredictable AI, and I don't like how many power points I had to use, but at least the next fight will probably go fine. Second is Ground Trainer Bertha. So this one doesn't go nearly as well as I thought it would. Whiscash took 5 Ice Beams to take down, and that's literally half of our power points, so we ran out by the time we got to Rhyperior. Not only that, but we took tons of damage from Earthquake. I could go get some power point ups for Ice Beam, and I probably should, but I think I'm also gonna have to level up a bit. We're close to some one-shots that would help us tons, and a few levels might allow us to get them. We're back a few levels higher. This time went way better, with us pretty easily taking down our whole team with Ice Beam. We did have to blow through tons of power points though, and that's considering I put 3 power point ups on Ice Beam. I don't have many ethers and elixirs, so I hope this doesn't become a problem for the last 3 trainers. Third is Fire Trainer Flint. This actually goes pretty terribly. It turns out they have loads of physical moves, and even the weaker ones do quite a bit of damage. I guess I could spam Minimize against Houndoom at the start if I wanted, but then I get into that whole gray area of what will get me more complaints, grinding or evasion? I kind of think that hitting level 100 is a good idea so that we can do as much damage as possible, but I also think we can get past Flint with Minimize, so I'll try that first. Okay, so Minimize did a great job, and we basically took no serious damage beating Flint this way, but we blew through every single Thunderbolt and had to even resort to using Ice Beam to win the fight. To be honest, I think I'm gonna run out of power point restoring items by the time I get to Cynthia. I've got an Ether, a Max Ether, and a Max Elixir left. I guess that's plenty though. It's not like I'm gonna need to use both the Ether and the Max Ether for Lucian, so I'll have the Max Elixir left over no matter what. I should be fine. Fourth is Psychic Trainer Lucian. It started fine with Mr. Mime not being able to hit that hard, but it got a lot worse when Gallade came out since he's got Drain Punch. Literally every time he uses it, he fully heals off of it. I thought we were doomed, but we ended up freezing him. He thawed with a full restore, then shortly later we froze him again to eventually take him down. I really doubt we're winning this attempt though, we used so many power points. Alakazam was a 2-shot, and next is Bronzong. Thanks to how tanky he is, and Lucian using a full restore, we ended up running out of Thunderbolts and having to finish it with Ice Beam. Last was Espeon, who went down in 3 hits, but that left us with no more uses of Thunderbolt and 3 Ice Beams left. That was so close. Let's get our power points back and try the final fight. Doesn't she start with a Pokemon with pressure? This might not go well. Finally, the Pokemon champion Cynthia. Spiritomb is first, so I started with Thunderbolt. It did alright damage, but more importantly, her Dark Pulse did almost nothing to us. Problem is, she full restored to hang on longer, and we used double the power points because of her pressure ability, so we ended up losing quite a few power points before taking her down. At least the crit saved us a turn. Lucario was second, and Stone Edge actually did quite a bit of damage to us, but we still could heal more than he could hurt us, so I wasn't too worried. I decided to heal back up as much as I could before finishing him off, just in case. For Togekiss, I healed a bit more, took very little damage off a critical Aura Sphere, then landed Ice Beam to one-shot him. Garchomp did a ton of damage with Earthquake, but then we got a one-shot with Ice Beam, so as Melodic came out, I healed back up. Now, she did use Mirror Coat when I used Thunderbolt, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So because of that, I was able to finish her off with another Thunderbolt. I really thought that her high special defense would let her tank more hits than that. Last was Roserade, who was almost a one-shot with Ice Beam. She hit Sludge Bomb, but it didn't do much, so we took her out on the follow-up. That was an easy first try on the final boss. That was a really fun run. The whole first half of the game was pretty brutal, and it for sure slowed down right near the end, but there was a decent third of the game that honestly wasn't that bad. I really hope you guys liked that run. I actually don't know when I'm going to do the next challenge video, since I'm still kind of recovering and I'm taking my recovery day by day right now, but I'll keep you up to date on Twitter. As always, I'm looking forward to your suggestions in the comment section, in the challenge request section of my Discord channel, and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Alright, ad-lib outro time. It was really fun being able to do a challenge again. That was great. I guess I actually just said that in the script, though. Man, this voiceover did take me all day to do. I had to take little breaks and stuff and lay down every once in a while because I'm still not perfectly healthy yet. And there's little nerve pains here and there and stuff. That, and I got a new chair which supports my back pretty well, and that does help with the nerve pains, but it's got this annoying defect, and so the back is kind of falling out of it a little bit. So I'm actually getting that returned and getting a new one tomorrow, although I guess by the time you see this, I'll already have that new chair and everything. So my posture hasn't been the best for a lot of this voiceover, and that's not really been helping me. That said, I've been capable of doing a little bit more lately. I did a stream, 2 days ago? About 2 days ago, where I streamed on Twitch, and I just kind of hung out with you guys and talked a bunch. Didn't really play any games. Although, I think I'm doing well enough that I could probably play a game and do some commentary, as long as it's a day where my health is going pretty well, because, you know, I have my good days and my bad days. So if you want to go ahead and follow me on Twitch, link in the description, maybe sometime soon I could be streaming some games. I do need to do more Wrestling Empire. Everybody wants their newbie Nate. And, everyone's gonna ask me what I think of Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. Violet and Scarlet? Why does that sound wrong? No, I'm pretty sure that's the names, right? Oh man, if that's not the names, everyone's gonna crucify me. I've tried to intentionally stay pretty blind on those games because I want to go in blind. I do own Scarlet, I've purchased it, and I have it installed on my Switch, but I haven't booted up the game yet. I want to do like a stream through of it, so I'm excited for that. All I know about the game so far is I've seen some clips on Twitter of some hilarious visual glitches. I know that sometimes it stutters and doesn't run that well, and yet, what's it been, like 2 weeks or something since the game came out by the time I'm doing this voiceover? I had a lot of people say they were really disappointed at first because it runs so badly, but then no one ever stopped playing it, and everyone's been telling me that they're totally hooked on it. So maybe the gameplay is really good. I don't know. Personally, I don't really care that much if a game is ugly as long as the gameplay is really fun. So who knows? Maybe I'll end up really liking it. We'll see. But I'll make sure that my first time booting it is on stream, so you get to see me properly go in blind, and I'll be recording all those streaming sessions too, so they'll go up on YouTube after, so that you can watch it like Let's Play style if you wanna. And yeah. Twitch is free. I always have to say this every once in a while because I know that I got a lot of viewers who have never used Twitch before, and they just hear that subscribers is like a paid thing on Twitch. A Twitch subscriber is like a YouTube member, not like a YouTube subscriber. Subscribing YouTube style on Twitch is just called following. It's totally free. You don't need to pay anything. So you can just go make a Twitch account and it's free and watch. You don't even need an account if you don't want an account. And I do stream on YouTube on rare occasion, but I mostly stream on Twitch just because I don't like keeping all of my eggs in one basket. So yeah, I hope I can stream some more games soon. I hope I can do more Let's Plays soon, because I got all kinds of friends that I want to record with. Who knows? Maybe some are even up by now, just unlisted but in the playlists. I do that all the time. There's all kinds of videos you can watch really early that are unlisted, but they're viewable early in the playlist if you know that they're there, and I let people know about it on Twitter usually. In fact, I do that with many of these challenges. In fact, there's a chance I did that with this video and you're actually watching it later than you could have watched it. I don't know. Depends on when I get this edited, I guess. But I should probably go do some of my physio for my neck, and this chair is slowly killing me. So thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.